how many rock and roll fans do we have out there? Anybody like rock and roll? Okay, I want to show you what rock and roll artists had to go through, what they had to go through coming up, because rock and roll was not accepted by the establishment back in the day. Picture this. Back in say, the 1940s, there were laws where theaters, music halls, such as a place like this, for example, okay, in the 1940s, they were segregated if they allowed black people to come in at all and see a show. There were seating sections that were designated by the color of your skin. Ropes went around the chairs with signs hanging down saying, colored seating only, or seating for white patrons only. So you sat in the section as designated by the color of your skin, just like you all have seen the pictures of the colored water fountain or the colored restrooms and things like that throughout your history books. Concert halls were the same way. So if Patrice and I wanted to go see Frank Sinatra in the 1940s or the Glenn Miller Orchestra or somebody, we could not sit together. We had to sit in our sections as designated by the color of our skin. That same law was still in effect in the 1950s, but two phenomenons happened. One was the invention of rock and roll by Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Fats Domino, Bo Diddley, and the popularization of it by great artists like Elvis Presley, Bill Haley and the Comets, Jerry Lee Lewis, Buddy Holly, Carl Perkins, and many, many others. And what happened was this. When those guys came out playing this new beat that kids had not heard before, kids could not sit still, white kids or black kids. And they bounced up out of their seats and knocked over those signs and started boogieing and dancing in the aisles together for the first time in the history of this country. And that would cause the police to come in and shut down the concert. Concert's over. No more of this. Because they were what? Race mixing. And that was illegal. And many cities all across the United States began banning rock and roll concerts from coming to their town because it caused white youth to race mix with black youth. All right? I'm going to show you some actual news footage from the 1950s, and you will see what I'm talking about. And it wasn't just here in the South, in southern towns. It was all over the country, even as far north as Jersey City, New Jersey. You're going to see the mayor of Jersey City, New Jersey, banning rock and roll concerts because he did not want the dynamite to go off in his city. The dynamite meaning race mixing, all right?
Set up a 20-man committee to do away with this vulgar, animalistic, nigger rock and roll bop.
The obscenity and vulgarity of the rock and roll music is obviously a means by which the white man and his children can be driven to the level with the nigger. It is obviously nigger music.
Well, John, it's our feeling here in Jersey City that this rock and roll rhythm is filled with dynamite, and we don't want the dynamite to go off in the Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City. After we heard about the incidents throughout the country and the coming of this concert to Jersey City, I asked our Commissioner of Public Safety, Lawrence Whipple, to look into the matter, and he did make a survey of the situation.
My department made a very thorough investigation of these so-called programs. We had telephone conversations and correspondence with various municipalities, included among these being Hartford, Connecticut, Orange, New Jersey, Asbury Park, and the city of Hoboken. And we find that these programs are not for the good of the community, and that's why I ordered them banned.
He ordered them banned, and he had the authority to do so. So this is what rock and roll people had to go through just to play their music. You know, there was no organization like Thayer back then that could have stood up for their rights to play what they wanted to and let people dance with whoever they want to dance with. All right? So rock and roll went through a hard time.